For the past month or so, or I would imagine, I think it's about the last month or so, the folks over at the Honey Badger Radio Brigade, or is it Honey Badger Brigade Radio? I don't know. But anyway, the folks at the Honey Badger have been dealing with a couple of people, a little bit on Twitter. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube of people accusing them of being Islamic apologetics. Apologizing for Islam or defending Islam, I believe some people are saying. Some people going so far as to say they have lost respect for Karen Straugh and the people at Honey Badger for defending Islam. I know Tyler Preston has made 2 videos on the subject matter. There was another guy, I believe, Nightmare Fuel Podcast, I believe his name was. I think it has something to do with nightmares. I believe, if I'm correct there. Even the people over at the Skeptic Feminist channel decided to have a long hangout where they chatted with a couple of ex-Muslims about their experiences. I believe when they moved to Saudi Arabia, I could be completely wrong there, but I think that's where the women were. There's this one hot chick. She's very passionate. I just don't really remember much of what she was saying, unfortunately. It has been about a couple of weeks since I last saw that entire hangout. But what I do remember for a fact is the women spent the majority of their time recounting their experiences and basically saying that Karen Straugh doesn't know what the bloody hell she's talking about because she didn't experience what they experienced. And which obviously is a logical fallacy in and of itself, which I will talk about, later in the video. That said, I've seen a little bit of this going around, and at first I wasn't really going to chat much about it. But then a couple days ago, I think about a week ago at the time I uploaded this video, Spinosaurus Ken made a video response, I believe mostly directed at the doc, although it was a video that was on the Honey Badger channel. I don't remember. It was a video response the Honey Badgers did to Tommy Lauren, and Spinosaurus Ken was responding to one of the segments that Dr. Marion McCam had. Of course, all links to everything I'm referring to is in the description box below. I am recounting all of this stuff to give the people, the fine people who, have jobs, so they understand what's going on. Why am I making a video? Why am I chatting about this? Well, I'm chatting about this because I think it's interesting. The second reason why I'm chatting about this is because someone briefly decided to toss a comment I made on one of their videos as proof that the MRAs are losing the plot over here. But if you've been paying attention to what I'm saying, you probably don't really know what exactly the Honey Badgers did or said or anything like that. I never said what they did. I never gave you an example of what the problem was or what people are scrutinizing them for. Well, from what I understand, from what I gather, there are 2 videos uploaded to the channel. I believe their name is Skepo. I don't know what Skepo's modus operandi is. What I do know is that he took 2 clips from, I think, a fireside chat. Karen Straugh was, I could be wrong there. But I know for a fact Brian Martinez and Karen Straugh were talking to some people on a chat, and they were talking about Islam. And he took a 14-minute clip out of the broadcast and said, Islam insanity from the Honey Badgers, I believe, and they're on his channel. And then he made a second one where he was like, here's some more apologetics from the Honey Badgers. And I think that's where the main contention, the main focus of criticism on the Honey Badgers is focused on. Although I believe perhaps on Twitter some of that Islam apologetics spilled out on there as well. I don't know. That's what I think. But I've mostly seen this stuff on YouTube and just a wee bit of it on Twitter. So, that being said, what am I here to say? What am I here to say? What am I here to do? Am I here to defend Islam with the Honey Badgers? No. I think at this point, my opinion of Islam should be pretty clear. Obviously, on the fact that I'm a Christian. I obviously believe it's a false religion delegated by the Archangel Gabriel. I don't believe it was Gabriel who gave the information to Muhammad, obviously, for reasons why I'll expand on if someone asks me. But obviously, I'm not here to defend Islam because I'm not a Muslim. I don't think it's a good religion in any capacity. And if you're a Muslim, I apologize if that hurts your feelings. I really do. I don't say that to hurt your feelings. I just say that to effectively communicate. That is not my purpose here. I am not here to defend Islam in any capacity. I honestly don't understand why you'd be a Muslim over a Christian, if I'm going to be completely honest, but another topic for another day. So what I am here to do, though, is kind of chat about this problem that I'm seeing here. I've noticed a couple of people who are on the flip side, who think that there's a bit of a MRA witch hunt going on, and I somewhat agree with them, only somewhat, because I've only personally experienced it. I haven't seen this happen outside of what's happened with my off comment, and it's not something all that serious. Don't think I'm being over dramatic, but it's just a wee thing that got me, which I'll explain again in just a second. But specifically, the problems I've seen have been focused on the video Karen Straugh and Brian Martinez. So what I'm going to do here is direct you guys to the video itself that I'm talking about. I think it's better if you guys watch what Karen Straugh said in its entirety instead of me playing the whole thing out, so you guys all understand what I'm going to be discussing or defending or talking about. So with that being said, just go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and chat about that. So at this point, I'm going to make the assumption that you have already seen or you just watched Karen Straugh and her Islamic Apologetics. And as you can see, I'm using my quotation marks because I honestly can't say that Karen Straugh was apologizing for Islam. I mean, first off, what even is apologetics? Just in case you were like me and you don't really understand or didn't understand what that word really meant, because I just see it get flung around a lot. In apologetics, I guess according to the Google dictionary, well, the first to be apologetic is just to show remorse for something that is done, or to try to attempt to apologize for something. But the second definition is a formal defense of a religion or some doctrine or something. Based on the clip that we've seen, I honestly can't say that Karen Straugh was defending Islam in any capacity. I think a lot of people are reaching there to say that that's what Karen Straugh was doing in the particular clip, in the first clip that I've watched myself. To me, what I've seen a lot of people chat about and find discuss with was Karen Straugh discussing the topic of soft power within Islamic countries and homes. And I think a lot of people seem to have taken what she said and blown it way out of proportion. And if I'm wrong, hopefully Karen Straugh can watch this and she can correct me in the comment section on Twitter. If I'm wrong, then if I'm wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong. I annotate this, but I don't think I am, just based on what I heard. It sounded more like, to me, what Karen Straugh was doing was trying to add a little nuance to the topic of the way, I think specifically Saudi Arabia and Sharia law treats women. That it's not as cut and dry, or that the patriarchal oppression of women in Islam is not as cut and dry as the men live like kings, everything is hunky-dory, it's all peaches and cream for men, and women are just treated like absolute shit. I think what Karen Straugh was saying was, it's not that simple. But I don't think Karen Straugh was saying it was okay. I don't think Karen Straugh was defending the state of affairs. I don't think she was saying that that's the way the world should be. I think what she was saying was, that's not the way the world is. It's a little more nuanced than simply men just fucking hate women, men just treat women like garbage. Specifically, again, in the clip we saw when Karen Straugh was talking about soft power, again, it sounds like she wasn't saying that it's wrong or right that these women have this ability to control what's going on in their house. I don't think Karen Straugh was saying that having the ability to decide whether or not someone decorates their home is equal to political power, was equal to the ability of going outside and working. It didn't sound like that's what her argument was. What it sounded like was she was saying that it's not that fucking simple as these women can't do anything at all. They do have power. It's not the same. It's not equal to. It's not the same as being able to decide if they go to war, who gets to work, and whether or not you drag people out of their houses and kill them. But they do have the ability to control what happens in their space. They do have the power to tell what's going to happen in this environment in which they live in. So, again, is it the zero-sum game that was she saying that women were privileged or anything like that? No, I don't. It didn't sound like that's what her argument was. It just sounds like, again, simply put, that women do have some kind of control and some kind of power over men in this area. It doesn't mean that women are equal to men in that area, but it also doesn't mean that women are on the fucking floor and just can't fucking do anything. Again, it's just not that fucking simple. You know, and then when we look on the second thing on the topic of forced marriages, I think once again, I think at that point, what it sounds like to me, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'll accept being wrong. But it sounds like to me that Karen Straugh wasn't defending the practice of forced marriage at all. It didn't sound like Karen Straugh was saying that this is what parents should do or what they're supposed to do or anything in that nature. It sounds like to me what Karen Straugh was saying was that even in this case that this happens, what she was saying was, I don't believe that parents would force their daughter or force their children to marry people they vehemently don't want to marry. And I think you could criticize Karen Straugh on that, on saying that parents love their children. I mean, which is mostly true, and mostly parents do. But saying that, you know, people in Saudi Arabia are similar to people here in America and that they would care about or think much of their children's well-being. I mean, that's certainly something you could say. You know, Karen Straugh's putting her personal view on parenthood onto other parents, but that would make sense because Karen Straugh herself, well, is a parent. I think you could argue that. You could say that, you know, maybe she's making a bit of a hasty generalization, or maybe she's putting way too much of her personal opinions on these people. However, to say that she was defending that as an okay practice, I do not think that is a fair assessment. Karen Straugh is saying that parents love their children, and if a daughter truly did not want to marry someone, she doesn't think that her father, her mother would force her to do that. Is it wrong? Could be. Is she defending the practice? No, it didn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like she's saying that that's a fine or dandy thing to do. She's saying, again, it's not that simple of, you know, fuck you, young lady, you're going to marry that guy like it or not. And that probably does happen. I don't know. I don't live in a Muslim country. I live in America. I live in Florida. I mean, I don't know. But from what I heard there, it doesn't sound like apologetics. It doesn't sound like she or the Honey Badgers there was defending Islam or defending those practices in either case as a correct thing to do. It just sounds like, again, Karen Straugh was saying, look, it's not that fucking simple. It's not as simple as men just hate women, treat them badly, and they just do whatever the fuck they want to do. And again, once again, if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong. I'll annotate this section of the video as I'm incorrect. This is exactly what Karen Straugh was saying. But I don't think it was. Now that said, I think we can then take this topic another step further outside of the Honey Badgers. Well, not even outside. Still closely connected to it. And that is the topic of gynocentrism. Gynocentrism isn't really the topic, but I think gynocentrism has a huge effect on the way we weigh problems. I think that's a perfect way to put it. The way a lot of people I've noticed, or Westerners, balance issues or problems is based on how it affects women. A lot of the criticism I have seen constantly throughout the so-called skeptic community, I don't even know if you guys will call yourselves a community, but if you do, okay, whatever. From skeptic channels in general, though, okay, maybe not community, but in general, a huge criticism of Islam is absolutely 100% predicated on it treats women badly. And the Honey Badgers, it seems to me, I know Alice Tiemann and Dr. Anna Cam here, from their videos that I've seen, because I watch their videos frequently, I guess made the cardinal sin of saying that men have problems there too. That's what it seems like a huge problem is, because it's kind of all they did. They just said it just seems to me the Honey Badgers are trying to add nuance to the situation, because, I mean, they're men's rights activists, so they care about the rights of men as well. And that doesn't mean that they don't care about the rights of women. And that just kind of goes to show that, again, we're playing a fucking zero-sum game here with people's rights and problems that affect people. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. I'm gonna give you a great example of what I mean by playing that zero-sum game in just a second. But to lay the foundation, this is what I've seen with a lot of people. A big criticism of Islam is the fact that it's shitty and horrible and terrible to women. It forces women to do lots of things. Women can't drive. I think there's Sharia law. Women can't drive. Women get raped. they have to, they can be killed for it, which actually isn't accurate. They're actually killed for adultery. The reason why the confusion there is because some women will commit adultery or they'll have sex with someone else, and then they'll claim they were raped, and then they'll need, I think four, or eyewitness. I think one eyewitness. I think a woman that's an eyewitness only counts as half a witness, if I'm correct there. I could be wrong, but obviously it's fucking look. I'm not saying that it's okay or that it's great or it's better, but to be accurate, to accurately solve a problem, you have to be able to call out what it is. A lot of women, they're not killed for being raped. They're killed for adultery. That's on the books is what's supposed to happen. If they got raped and then the husband said it was adultery, well, I mean, that's still the problem. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. And I think we need to get out of this mindset of one problem is worse, so we have to deal with that. I don't believe that. I think we can fix problems all together. We're millions of human beings. Let's think about this for a second. We're millions of human beings, right? If 5 million human beings focus on women are killed for being raped, and the other 5 million deal with women are killed for adultery, the problem, it doesn't matter if problem A is worse than problem B. We've got people solving problem A, so why can't we focus on, these other people can focus on problem B? I think a division of labor, which I can make a whole nother video about, is important. But again, I don't want people to harp on the fact that I've corrected the problem here, because I know some people are. Please don't. Please listen to what I'm saying here. Problems aren't a fucking zero-sum game. Problems should not be measured in a point system. And I've seen a lot of that happen, especially when again, the honey badgers brought in the fact that there are issues in Islamic countries that affect men. That whole point system thing I was just referring to comes up. So, for a good example of this, there's a Tyler Preston video where his video response, I think, shows this perfectly. And I'm not doing this to pick on Tyler Preston because I dislike him. I actually like him quite a bit. I'm not doing this because I hate him, because I want inflammatory. I'm being inflammatory. No, I'm doing this because he's proving my point. It's a good point, a good example. So again, no hate, no hatred, no disdain here, no ill will. So I'm going to let the clip roll. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Takes away.
Objectively speaking, Islamic women have it way worse compared to the guys in Islamic texts. Not only are girls forced to be in child marriages, but also women need male guardians to do things. Additionally, there are various verses within the Hadith that actually advocate for sex slavery. By the way, males do not have to worry about sex slavery.
Now here I'm going to have to pause to correct Tyler Preston a little bit and say that that's just not true. Or I also have to say this. If he's saying that the Hadith does not say that you can enslave men and use them as sexual slaves, then that would be a true statement. If he means that boys don't have to worry about that at all, that's not true. That is false. And I don't think he made the statement deliberately or intentionally. I think it's just mostly ignorance, because I mean I was ignorant on this as well until I was informed, obviously. But the thing is with child rape, there's a huge problem I think I've seen in Saudi Arabia, and I think the phenomenon is called BASSFZz, if I pronounce that correctly, which translates, I think, literally into a boy play. But the gist is, they'll basically some of these rich, wealthy men will purchase young boys, like I think like up to 11, but like children, you know, and they'll dress them up as women, have these boys dance and play, and then, well, guess what? They would rape them. Again, have them for sexual slavery. So sexual slavery in Saudi Arabia, it isn't a woman problem. It's a children problem. It's a problem for fucking people, you know. And I think again that right there, I think actually just kind of proves more to my point about the playing the game with people, the point system of problems in people's lives. So just one minor criticism there. That's not entirely true. Young boys do have to deal with sexual slavery as well. But I mean, he's just gonna prove my point just really quickly, like now.
At the very worst, they have to worry about castration. This is not to downplay male slavery. However, getting your balls cut off is not the same thing as getting raped every day.
And you know what? That's true. I mean, that's almost obviously true in the sense that falling down is not the same as cutting your wrist while, you know, trying to cut some tomatoes. I mean, obviously, it's not the same. The fact remains, though, there's still problems. There's still issues. And I think the thing is, I don't think, here's my problem with this point system. We're looking at it as women have it worse. It's worse for women, and this is why it's a problem. But Tyler Preston himself acknowledges that men can be castrated and pushes that off to the wayside to say, but hold on, look, women have a problem here. And for me, I honestly do not understand why this game even needs to be played with people's lives. I mean, let's think, we are talking about people's lives in a country thousands of fucking miles away. I mean, let's put that in perspective. And yet we're sitting here, as Westerners, playing this game that we only have a problem because women have issues. Or it's worse for women, so we need to focus on that. I don't understand that mindset. Again, we just acknowledge that these men can have their testicles removed. Is it the same as being raped constantly? No. But it's a problem nonetheless. So why do we pretend that it's somehow wrong or an issue to bring up the fact that yes, men are treated horribly too here as well, in order to say, but look, no, women have a problem. It's yes, it sucks for women. Here's the thing. Look, we know it sucks for women. This isn't revolutionary information. I don't find being told that women get raped and beaten and treated badly in Islamic countries is new information. It's not. It's not new information to me. What is newer information to me, though, is hearing all the different issues and problems they have with men. Like I just said, the boy play BASSFZz thing was something I had no idea. I had no idea for years that if a Muslim man didn't have a job or didn't work, he can be pulled out of his house and killed in the street. I had no idea that these guys would throw gay people, throw men right off of roofs and just straight kill them. I didn't know. This is all new information to me when it comes to criticizing Islam. All of those problems that affect the men there. And so again, do women have it worse? Yeah. What difference does it make? The fact remains, people are in pain. So I don't understand why this is a game that we need to play. I'm just repeating myself over and over again. I realize that. But hopefully, you as a viewer, you're hearing what I'm saying here. I don't think there should be a point system to people's problems. I don't think that we should push anybody's issues to the wayside because one person has a bigger problem. Now I'm going to switch gears and just kind of wrap this video up with one last message. So just, stay tuned.
This is a tweet that happened about a week ago, at least the time I recorded this video. And it's actually Dr. Anamrkam himself who sent this to me, and I actually thought that this was a bit silly. And I also think there's a valuable lesson in this as well, so I decided to include it in this video. So some guy, I do not know who this individual is, named Deplorable Turin, or Ad Satanic Skeptic. I guess apparently Spino was having some conversation on Twitter or something, I don't know. And he decided to tweet him this. It was at Spinosaurskin. I can't figure out your grievances with MRAs. I mean, they surely are intellectual giants, aren't they? And then he took a screenshot of a comment I made on a honey badger ragening, I guess a couple of weeks ago, obviously, well, 3 weeks ago. And this is what I said. I said, Mike does have a grand point there. I mean, it really does beg the ultimate question. If Muslims hate women so much, why is their version of paradise a place filled with women? And then I put XD, because I was giggling or I was laughing. I thought, at first it was, when I originally wrote the comment, I remember the state of mind I was in. I was thinking, that's actually kind of hilarious when you think about it. All the times we're told Muslims are bad and horrible because they hurt women, and yet their paradise is filled with women. Isn't that kind of funny? That's hilarious. I was just thinking of it as a joke or off-colored comment. But when I seriously ponder it, when I ask myself that question as a serious inquiry into why Muslims are the way they are, I don't have an answer, and I just thought it was something interesting to think about. I wasn't trying to make a grand statement, but apparently it means that I'm stupid and the MRAs are stupid, which actually kind of makes Deplorable Turin look pretty silly because, spoiler alert, I'm not an MRA. And honestly, if you want to know why, this is actually one reason why I'm not an MRA, and why I don't claim to be affiliated with any party at all. This isn't withholding the MRAs, it's any party in general. And the reason why is because I don't want my opinions or my feelings to be a reflection of other people. I'm a staunch believer in being an individualist, and I should be judged on my standards first before any group. And considering that's the whole point of being a part of a group, is to effectively communicate all of your standards and standings. Being an MRA or being a conservative or liberal or any group, libertarian, doesn't fully encapsulate my opinion, so I don't claim to be a part of any group. And I'm just not an MRA. So this makes this guy look pretty fucking silly, trying to use me as an example of MRAs to show that MRAs are stupid when I'm not a fucking MRA. Alright, I think that's enough. I think it's time to switch back to my beautiful
So I
face.
mean, hopefully I have given you guys all something to think about today. Probably some people will probably be upset, and if you are upset, by all means, drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll chat with you about it. Hopefully we can come to a consensus. But the main message of today is two things. Point one. This is just general. Hopefully just maybe for younger people who watch this video. One comment is not enough to fully encapsulate the idea of an entire group of individuals. We should try to move out of that honestly juvenile mindset and give people the chance and the opportunity to both explain themselves and to understand where they're coming from before we jump down their throat. Let's, and if after they explain themselves and they're still on some bullshit, then it's fine to say they're on some bullshit. But I think we should give people the opportunity and have the understanding that one wrong thing does not fully encapsulate an entire fucking group of people. It just doesn't. It's not even it's not logical or rational in any capacity. The second thing is we should really stop playing zero-sum games with problems that people have. I don't understand why we cannot simultaneously care about men's issues and women's issues. It's not one or the other, my friends. It's not. We should love and protect people, just as a general rule, So hopefully, if you get anything out of this video, please get those last two things that I said. Please do not be focused on the Islamic apologetics. Please be focused on the positivity here at the end. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.